Don't be afraid of the dark. Just relax and let the darkness fall over you.
Welcome to Afraidish, a podcast where we take a deep dive into the history and paranormal while enjoying some tasty adult beverages. From ghost sightings to hauntings, urban legends and cryptids, let's get weird and afraid-ish together. Welcome to episode 50, our first Halloween special of 2024.
Woohoo!
Yay. How have you been?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. We haven't done much since the last episode.
No. But we also, it's only been a week.
Couple weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Still.
Been doing the same old shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm I'm a little happy tonight because I'm looking at we went Halloween decoration shopping a couple of days ago, and I found a disco ball candle at Michael's, and then a disco ball pumpkin, but it's pink at Five Below, and they're sitting over on the TV stand, and it's in front of my red wall, and I'm just like, I don't know, that just makes me so happy to look at. With a little cauldron in the background.
Well, you're not drinking anything.
I'm not, but I'm high.
I was, I had 2 strong margaritas.
Yeah?
I'm feeling pretty good.
You're on a margarita kick.
I am. They're good.
I'm on a cough drop kick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I've been sick again.
Yeah.
I was sick 2 weeks ago.
I hate being sick.
Period flu, and then now this tonsillitis? I don't know what it is.
It's not tonsillitis. Probably just...
Tonsillitis is inflammation of the tonsils, and I had inflammation this morning.
Yeah. Probably.
Serious tonsil inflammation.
Who knows?
I took an ibuprofen and one of those daytime Alka-Seltzers, and then within like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I was fine. Like, no pain at all. But when I first woke up, and all night last night, I remember like waking up throughout the night, just, it hurt to swallow.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. But like, I'm fine in every other aspect.
Yeah. Still crazy. I mean, I love you.
Excuse you? Also, I'm having a pretty good skin moment. I'm not gonna lie, my skin looks really good right now.
Yeah.
And that's got me happy.
That's good. Yep. All right. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Lore refers to the body of knowledge, stories, and traditions associated with a particular group, culture, or fictional universe. Here are 5 fun facts about lore.
I like lore.
Yeah.
I like Lord of the Rings.
It's so funny. 5 fun facts. Number 1. Origin of the word lore.
Star-Lores.
Star-Lores.
Sorry. It just came to my head.
Oh, you're so
Dad
funny.
jokes.
Yeah.
Puns. That's like...
The word lore comes from the Old English lar, which means teaching or instruction. It evolved to signify the shared knowledge passed down through generations.
Mm-hmm. That's not a thing anymore, man.
I know.
I mean, like, it is still a thing because you can find anything on the internet, and that's the internet that I'm on, is like give me the good stuff, give me the history, give me the stories, give me the tradition, the folk traditions.
God damn it.
Did you just...
Yeah, the fucking animals are playing and fighting and...
Anyway, as I was saying, now you can find anything on the internet, and that's mostly what I look for on the internet. But, like, there's not that, like, information being passed down from your grandma the way that it was.
Yeah, now it's just passed down through Google.
Yeah, like, we're not passing down our family lore amongst our families anymore. We're passing down other other lore, not personal family lore, but like cultural historical lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Thought exercises. Something to percolate on. Anyway, go ahead. Number 2.
Number 2. Folklore versus lore. While folklore specifically relates to a community's oral traditions, myths, and tales, lore encompasses a broader range of knowledge, including customs, beliefs, and even specialized knowledge in specific fields like computer lore.
Okay, so I kind of defined lore and folklore.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't let me talk so much.
Yeah, it's fine. Number 3. Evolving lore. Lore is often fluid and changes over time.
Yeah.
In many cases, stories or traditions are adapted, expanded, or even contradicted as new details emerge, whether in folklore, gaming communities, or even superhero comic book universes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 4. Headcanon in fandom lore. In modern fan communities, headcanon refers to personal interpretations or stories created by fans that are not part of the official lore, but are accepted within fan circles. This shows how lore can be participatory and evolve through fan contributions.
There is so much of that in the A Court of Thorns and Roses community. It's there's people writing whole ass books of headcanon.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Number 5. Urban lore and legends. Urban legends are a modern type of lore, often spread through word of mouth or the internet. They typically feature sensational or spooky stories and reflect cultural anxieties or warnings, such as the tale of Bloody Mary or the Slender Man.
I was thinking Slender Man, yeah.
Which is a creepy pasta story.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's crazy. All right. Esta noche exploraremos la leyenda de una de las figuras más perdurables del folclore latinoamericano, La Llorona. In other words, tonight we will explore the legend of one of the most enduring figures in Latin American folklore.
Okay.
La Llorona.
There's this Instagram account that I've been getting served the last few days, and he does content of when you are fluent in the language but you never learn the accent.
Yeah.
And there's one where it's an American speaking Spanish, American hillbilly.
Yeah, I
speaking Spanish. I think I sent it to you. But then he also has German German language with a Spanish accent.
That is crazy.
It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, La Llorona.
La Llorona. Her name means the weeping woman, but her story means so much more. A ghostly figure who walks riversides searching for her children, and some say, for new victims. Throughout the centuries, her tragic tale has captivated and terrified people across generations. But who was La Llorona? Is she simply a myth, or is she more... Oh, fuck me.
Okay, what if La Llorona is a dark fae?
Could be.
Okay, because, no, this is where culture, okay, and I'm, reading way too into this and extrapolating way too much, but, if you think about, she's a spirit that lures people to their deaths.
Yeah, but not everything is fae-related.
No, but I'm just... No, I know. But, that's what in... Okay, I'm not talking fae, high fantasy fae. I'm talking fae, interdimensional beings. Think of Bigfoot as, a troll or something. He's not.
Yeah.
But, same context. Throughout the world, various cultures have different... in Celtic, Ireland, Scotland, etc., they had the fae, right?
Yeah.
In Scandinavia, they have elves.
Yeah.
But they're basically the same.
Yeah.
There's some good, there's some bad, but they lure, they have fae that lure people to their deaths. There's Native American creatures that remind me of, like, goblins. I don't know, it's just like, you know, the cultural context might be different, but all these cultures have these different beings that lure people to their death. So, like, what if they all come from the same place and we just add our own context, like, they're Fae, and then we created lore around Fae based on the culture of the area, but it's the same being.
I don't know.
Am I getting way too meta?
Maybe.
Like, way? I'm like, obviously, it's not that deep. But also, could it be that deep?
I doubt it.
I'm very... We're having a Jeremy Bearimy moment.
It's crazy. Anyways, but who was La Llorona? Is she simply a myth, or is there more to her story? What are the historical roots behind her legend? And are the stories of her ghostly appearance true? Tonight we'll answer those questions as we uncover the history, hauntings, and modern-day encounters of La Llorona. So grab your blanket, turn off the lights, and get ready to be afraid-ish.
I'm really excited for this.
Yeah? I hope it's good. Let's start at the beginning. Where did the story of La Llorona come from? The origins of La Llorona's story are deeply rooted in the cultures of pre-Hispanic Mexico, Spanish colonialism, and European folklore. There are many variations of the La Llorona tale, but the most common version goes something like this. A beautiful woman named Maria lived in a small village. She fell in love with a wealthy man and bore him 2 children. However, when the man left her for another woman, Maria, in her grief and rage, drowned her children in a river. Immediately after realizing what she had done, she was overcome with sorrow and guilt. Unable to cope, Maria threw herself in the same river and died. After her death, her spirit was cursed to roam the earth, weeping for her lost children and searching for them in vain.
Oh my god. Supernatural whitewashed La Llorona. The girl who drowned her kids in the bathtub and jumped off the bridge and was luring men to their death in their cars.
That's different. I don't think they whitewashed it. I think it's just like a different lore. There are different lores with the same situations.
Okay, so then again, we're going to across cultures. There's a weeping woman who lures people to their deaths.
Yeah. Anyways. After her death, her spirit was cursed to roam the earth, weeping for her lost children and searching for them in vain. La Llorona became a cautionary figure, warning others to stay away from dangerous water and to never act in fits of jealousy and anger.
Yeah, and don't cheat on your wife.
Yeah.
Or husband. Just don't cheat on your romantic partner. If you're not happy, just leave them.
Yep. But the story didn't start with Maria. Some scholars trace the tale of La Llorona to ancient Aztec mythology. A figure named... I forgot to put down the pronunciation.
Oh no.
Cihuacotl, I'm pretty sure, or Snake Woman, was said to roam the streets crying for her lost children and foretelling doom for the empire. Cihuacotl was a goddess of motherhood and fertility, but also of death and war.
Oh!
Which mirrors the duality seen in La Llorona's tragic tale.
Okay.
There's also another parallel figure, La Malinche, an indigenous woman who acted as a translator and intermediary for the Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortes. Some say La Malinche, often viewed as a traitor by the indigenous people, became the inspiration for La Llorona after being blamed for the loss of indigenous culture and lives during colonization. Jesus.
Colonialism, colonization.
Yeah. This mix of indigenous beliefs and colonial influence shaped the story of La Llorona into what we recognize today. The sorrowful mother who weeps for her lost children is, in a sense, a symbol of the grief and tragedy experienced by indigenous people during and after the Spanish conquest.
Yeah.
La Llorona's story also has European influences.
Because the Spaniards were European, people like to forget that fact.
Yeah. Particularly from the White Lady legends, which were widespread across Europe. These tales often feature a ghostly woman in white mourning the loss of her children or family and appearing near water. Like La Llorona, these figures were tragic and tied to themes of betrayal, motherhood, and death. We can see how the myth of La Llorona absorbed different cultural influences over time, but at its core, it remains a tragic tale of a woman's immense sorrow and regret. However, the history of La Llorona is only one part of the story. Let's move on to how this myth has persisted in modern-day culture. La Llorona is not just a myth confined to the past. Over time, she has become a fixture in popular culture, appearing in literature, films, and television series, from Mexican horror movies to episodes of shows like Supernatural and Grimm. La Llorona's story has been retold again and again, often with modern twists. Most recently, you might have heard of her in the 2019 film Curse of La Llorona from the Conjuring universe, starring Linda Cardellini, who played Velma in the live action.
Was she La Llorona?
No, she was like the mom of a couple of kids who sees La Llorona.
Okay.
In pop culture, La Llorona has been portrayed in many different ways, sometimes as a vengeful spirit, other times as a sad and misunderstood figure. However, despite these different portrayals, one thing remains the same. La Llorona is always near water, and her mournful cries are always enough to send shivers down your spine. What's interesting is that many people, even today, claim to have heard or seen La Llorona themselves. These experiences range from hearing weeping near a river or actually seeing her ghostly figure wandering the streets or countryside.
Countryside?
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be by water.
I guess out in the country where, like, streams and...
Okay.
I don't
So,
know.
like, maybe in a non-populated area of a river?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, there are hundreds of reports of La Llorona sightings in Mexico, Central America, and even parts of the United States. Now we're getting into the heart of what makes La Llorona stories so compelling: the hauntings. For generations, people have reported seeing or hearing La Llorona, often describing her as a ghostly woman in a white dress with long dark hair, wandering near rivers, lakes, or other bodies of water. Some of the earliest reports of La Llorona's sightings date back hundreds of years. One of the most famous stories comes from the town of Santa Fe, New Mexico. In the 19th century, people claimed to hear the cries of La Llorona along the banks of the Santa Fe River. There are also stories of children being approached by a strange woman in white, warning them to stay away from the water. And it wasn't just in Santa Fe. Similar stories have been reported in towns all across Mexico, as well as Texas, California, and Arizona. The common thread in all of these encounters is that La Llorona is almost always seen near water, crying out for her lost children. Some people say that if you hear her cries, it's a bad omen. Others believe that she's trying to lure children to the water to take them away, just as she did with her own children. Let me tell you a few specific stories that have been passed down through generations. One of the most famous stories comes from Mexico City. In the 1930s, a woman claimed that she had seen La Llorona walking along the canals of Xochimilco. I have no idea. I forgot to put pronunciations for that.
How's it spelled?
Xochimilco. Xochimilco.
I'd have to see it, but also I'm really bad.
I don't know. I hope I'm close. She said the figure was dressed in white, and her cries were so haunting that they gave her nightmares for weeks.
Oof.
The canals of Xochimilco which are tied to ancient Aztec history, are often associated with La Llorona due to their eerie atmosphere and proximity to water. And it's not just historical accounts. In the 21st century, people continued to report seeing La Llorona. In fact, in the late 2000s, there was a viral video of what many claimed to be La Llorona walking near a river in Juarez, Mexico.
Oh my god, I think I remember that.
Really? I don't think I've seen that.
I don't think I saw it, but I remember people talking about it. Like, it was on social media.
That's crazy.
But I could also be making up the fact that I remember that.
I don't know.
It might not. It might be a false memory, but it also might be a real memory, and I don't know.
The video shows a white, ghostly figure wandering aimlessly and letting out gut-wrenching wails. Of course, we have to be skeptical of these kinds of claims, especially with the rise of fake videos on the internet. But the belief in La Llorona is still very much alive. So why does the legend of La Llorona persist? Some folklorists and psychologists...
Psychologists?
Yeah. I can't... My tongue is like...
Psychologists?
My tongue is like too relaxed for some reason. I can't talk. Blah. Psychologists suggest that La Llorona represents something deeper in the collective unconscious. In many ways, she is the embodiment of grief and maternal anguish. The loss of children is of profound fear for many people, and La Llorona's endless weeping can be seen as a reflection of this universal fear. Which that is probably any parent's worst nightmare. Yeah. There's also a vital cultural component. In many Latin American cultures, La Llorona serves as a cautionary tale. Parents often tell their children not to go near rivers or lakes at night, warning them that La Llorona might be waiting. It's a way to keep children safe, but also a way of passing down cultural values and beliefs.
Man, I gotta say, this new generation of kids is soft, and I'm not just talking Gen Z or Gen Alpha. I'm talking since like the 1800s. People used to tell their children horribly terrifying things, like Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, between the Germans and... Yeah, it's crazy.
Just as, like, cautionary tales, like, hey, don't go in the woods alone, otherwise the witch is gonna eat you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or the ghost is gonna drown you.
I listened to a podcast, and one of the ladies, she's from Germany, but, grew up in America, and she talks about how, the Germans have these crazy...
They still tell their kids?
Yeah.
It's to this day?
Probably.
Okay, because, like, all of the Brothers Grimm are just, like, cautionary tales people used to tell their kids to keep them out of trouble.
That's another show I want to watch, is Grimm. It's kind of like...
is it reality? Is it...
No, it's kind of like the show we're watching now.
Supernatural?
Kind of like Supernatural, yeah.
Supernatural is basically just Buffy, but without Buffy.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
No Angel, no Buffy, no Xander.
Anyways, I like it. That's a good show.
It's alright. It's basically Buffy.
Yeah. So, what do we make of La Llorona? Is she just a myth, or is there something more to her story? Whether you believe in her ghostly presence or see her as a cultural symbol, there's no denying that La Llorona has captured the imaginations of people for centuries. Her story, filled with grief, loss, and mystery, continues to resonate across generations. So, I hope you enjoyed my deep dive into the history and hauntings of La Llorona. If you have your own encounters or stories about La Llorona, I'd love to hear them. Email your stories to afraidishpodcast@gmail.com. So, I mean, it was shorter than usual, but...
That's okay.
It's like a...
People don't need to hear me. People don't want to hear me talk all fucking day long. It's fine.
That's fine.
Man,
but yeah.
My Llorona is always one of those ones that makes me sad.
I know. There's like different variations of the story, but it's all comes down to the same thing.
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Right. If the story's true and it's not like some demon fae being who's just using human emotions to lure them.
But most of the stories comes down to she kills her children, or her children die, and she dies by suicide, and to try to find them, but then she ends up haunting near rivers or waterways or whatever, and tries to lure other children to kill them to
collect a family.
Yeah, to collect a family, yeah.
It's
wild.
Very sad. No matter... Just the idea of the story is very sad.
It is.
That's the dishwasher.
Yeah. Ding ding, baby.
It always it reminds me of the door ajar
on the fridge,
on the washing machine. Oh. So like every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, but wait, I did not just start a load in the washer. It's been going.
The ding ding, I think, is like if you leave the fridge open.
Yeah. It is because they're both Samsung. Well, the washer is Samsung too. I don't know. Anyway.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Do you have anything else? I'm hoping to have a few more Halloween specials.
Yeah.
And then an actual special on Halloween Day.
Yeah.
If I get my shit together.
Yeah. People who like to hear my voice should go over and listen to the Hot Mess Roundtable.
Yes.
Halloween specials. I don't know the upload schedule of when the episodes that I did will be uploaded this month. But we did ghost stories, and we did a little bit of ghost investigating.
Yeah.
And then we read tarot.
Nice.
After. And so it's going to be a 2-parter. And then one of the gals' moms came on and told her ghost stories. And then we're going to have one of the other ladies' moms come on and tell her ghost stories. So it's going to be like a parent's ghost stories. And that's going to be one episode, but it's going to be recorded over 2 different days.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to go hang out, but we need somebody to watch the boys.
Yeah. And they did say, they were like, yeah, Paul could come on the podcast anytime he wants, because they've had Jordan's husband on the podcast, Thor.
I mean, I have a couple of stories, but...
Yeah, you have some crazy stories.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah. And I ended up having a lot of stories, and I didn't even tell all of them. Like, I left there going, oh my God, I didn't talk about the time we woke up in the hotel room and the Bible was open on one of the other ladies that I was traveling with shoes.
That's crazy.
Also, I didn't tell the story that my grandma had. We talked about this the last episode too, of Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Yeah. Just fucking showing up out of thin air.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's Hot Mess Roundtable. Listen to that anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
And they're on social media.
We're a crazy bunch of ladies.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
We just recorded an episode about menopause. That was super fun.
Yep.
It was great.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right. If you have any stories or requests of anything you want to hear about or know anyone who does, please email me at afraidishpodcast@gmail.com, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, which I'm rarely on Threads.
Yeah, I get on Threads like more for book stuff than anything else. Like, I follow esthetician accounts on Threads, but the only accounts that I really get... Because when you scroll Instagram now, it will show you every few posts, it'll show you a thread, usually by someone you follow or something that the algorithm thinks you'll like.
Yeah.
So I either get book stuff or political shit. And I'm like, I know who I'm voting for. Please stop sending me political shit. I got that shit locked down.
I can't wait till election's over because
I can, because I'm
as a mail
terrified of a
carrier,
worst-case scenario.
it's probably the worst season. Besides Christmas.
No, Christmas is the worst season.
Yeah, as far as packages, yeah.
As far as you staying out till fucking 9 p.m. every fucking night.
Well, I do have the biggest drought in the office, so.
You do, and it keeps getting bigger.
Not to brag or anything. Bigger isn't always better.
Bigger is not always better, especially when you're not getting paid equivalent to the size that it is.
Yeah. It's a girthy bitch. Anyways, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads
okay,
at Afraidish Podcast. My wingspan is the biggest.
The Azrael's is the biggest. There's always a line of like the substantial length of him, or like the.
All right, enough Fae talk or Shadow Daddy talk. Tell me what haunted location you want to hear about, or anything paranormal, or Fae talk, or Shadow Daddy talk, or whatever. All the links will be in the show notes. I do have this on YouTube as audio. You can listen almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and rate on Spotify. 5 stars, please. And remember, the world is full of mysteries just waiting to be uncovered. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's always something new to discover. And sometimes, the most unexpected places are the most haunted.
Yeah.
Until next time, don't be afraid of the dark.
Be afraid-ish of what's in it.
Bye.
Bye.
So why does the legend of La Llorona persist? Some folklorists and psychologists...
Psychologists?
Yeah. I can't... My tongue is like...
Psychologists?
My tongue is like too relaxed for some reason. I can't talk. Blah.